Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the CTH Podcast, episode number 4. It's actually a very interesting timing for us because we've had quite a few episodes already in stock for us, I guess, that we've been releasing. But it's actually the first time in 2 weeks that we're recording, so I'm losing a bit of my feels. So yeah, just bear with me as we get started here. Today we have another very special guest, but before we get into that, let's touch base with our friend here, Young-hoon. Thanks for joining us again. How are you, my friend? I know
Good
you've
to
been
see you
very
guys.
busy.
Good to see you guys. Yes, I worked with Valencia Huben B team in Korea because in Korea we had an international youth tournament in Korea. It was kind of a pre-season tournament, but with many European teams. So the tournament was pretty intensive. I was with Huben B team of Valencia. I enjoyed it, but it's too much work. So I was suffering a little bit, but now I'm okay. So let's get started once again.
Yeah, Young-hoon is like all over the place. Like last month or a couple months ago, he was working with Atletico, Sevilla, and now he's working with a youth team of Valencia in Korea. It's fun times for him, but I'm sure he was very, very busy. But our guest here today, his name is Tin Salatovic, who works with the Croatian Giants, Dinamo Zagreb. He works primarily with the academy, which we thought was very, very interesting. That actually is much more of an interest to us than someone who may be working with the first team maybe at Dinamo Zagreb, just because the player development at Dinamo Zagreb is so renowned. So without further ado, Tin, how are you, my friend? Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm good, thank you. I'm just surprised that you didn't invite Dinamo in that tournament. I need to say that first of all, because
So
we
let me
will
ask
come
you
to
this,
Korea,
Tin.
of course.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna say something to organization next year for sure.
Okay. We are recording this.
Yeah, it's gonna be evidence.
Okay. Thank
So
you,
what I
thank you
wanna
guys
ask
for
you
having me.
is if Dinamo at youth level were to face the likes of Wolverhampton or Valencia in Korea at a youth tournament, do you feel confident that you can win the tournament?
Of course, easy, easy job.
Yeah, so maybe next year, maybe next year we'll see the youth team at Dinamo Zagreb lift trophy in Korea. So yeah,
I hope
let's
so.
stay tuned for that.
We didn't been there, so that will be a new market for us. We've been in China, in Japan, and so on, but we didn't been in Korea, so it will be interesting
Okay.
to join that.
There you go.
tournament.
Yeah.
Let's try.
Yeah, no, that would certainly be very, very interesting. But Tin, before we even start with the questions that we've prepared for you, I just want to get an introduction from you in your own words. Like, what is it that you do at Dinamo? What is your day-to-day like? What is your primary role working with the academy at Dinamo Zagreb?
Okay, so first of all, I'm team manager and the secretary of the whole academy. There are a few of us here, 3 of us, who are working in this kind of department. Daily work is that we need to deal with all the paperwork regarding the transfers, registrations, the confirmations, and so on. So daily work is paperwork, of course. That we also have another things to do, like I told you before this, before we started recording, we have Dinamo Coaching Academy, which we run on daily basis, but we have here like maybe every 2 weeks some kind of group of the coaches who are coming from different countries of the world, and they observe here the sessions and having the presentation of all academy departments. So we need to organize that. We need to organize every match which is on that weekend, this week, and we need to organize every tournament in cooperation with the head coach and the director of academy, where we want to go. Which teams are there, is that level of that tournament good enough for us, and so on. So there are a lot of work on daily basis, but you have it's when we spoke about daily works, it's different. Every day is something new.
Sure.
You deal with something else every day, so it's quite interesting. And of course, two of us have the coaching license. I have UEFA B. My colleague who is technical director of academy, has UEFA A license, and we are going also as a coaches to Dinamo Zagreb camps around the world. So a lot of things to do, and but like I told you, every person here who works in Dinamo, he is very happy to do every kind of work for this club.
Yeah, no, which is why we find this to be a very fascinating opportunity to speak someone within the club. But what I wanted to ask you was, it's a very interesting role that you have, a team manager at Dinamo Zagreb Academy. And I know the term manager, it varies a lot depending on what part of the world you're in. For example, a manager in England would mean literally a manager, a head coach of the team. Whereas manager in Korea, and I think a little bit in Croatia as well, manager is somebody who pretty much takes care of everything outside of coaching, or maybe sometimes involved in coaching as well. But in I guess in your context in Croatia, what does a manager, even at whether that be first team or academy, what's the role of a team manager in Croatia? What is it that what's their specific that they do?
Yeah, obligations are like I told you. You need to, for example, for academy and for the first team, it's almost similar, but there are some differences.
Sure.
Because in academy you have a lot of kids in the academy, 220 players. Let's say in our academy, 220 players. In first team you have maybe 20 to 30 players, and it's different work. You have here, I don't know, a lot of confirmations for for the institution like schools. You need to put them in the school. You need to put them in the. We have one house here, like internat for the players. You need to prepare the papers for that. You need to prepare the registration for every player who are coming, who is new in the academy. You need to prepare the papers for the players who are leaving the club to other club. You need to meet the same thing with the other clubs where they are living, and so on. So you need to, regarding your organizational part, which I told you, organizing the friendly matches, international matches, organizing the international tournaments, organizing the competition matches on the weekend, and so on. So it's quite a lot of job when you see that. It's a lot of players, it's a lot of parents, it's a lot of institutions which you work with. But okay, there are three of us here now, and we are managing that quite okay, and we are satisfied. But in the first team, you are like, it's a more stricter job, because the first team is the first team, and there is no space for any mistake. Let's say mistake. Of course, in academy also you cannot do some kind of mistakes, but its first team is top level, and that it's very good guy is the team manager of the first team. He's also dealing almost the same job like we are doing. It's an organization of official matches, UEFA Champions League competitions if we played, Europa League if we played, and so on. Everything, paper for any players, they need to be put in some kind of place where they want to live. They need to get the papers to live here. It's quite complex job, but okay, when you are doing that in daily basis, it's quite okay.
Yeah, no, you spoke about this being a lot of work, but I'm sure a lot of people out there would be interested in working for a club like Dinamo, especially in Croatia or probably even around the world because of the popularity of Dinamo and the reputation that they have for being a club that produces so many world class players. But so for you personally, how did this opportunity come about for you? Because from what I know, it really hasn't been that long, 3 years, 3 or 4 years or so. So
I'm
how
now,
did this?
yes.
Yeah, how did this opportunity come about for you? Were you a footballer? Were you a coach? A fan of Dinamo? How did this journey start for you?
Okay, so first of all, I started playing football when I was six years old. My whole family is in love with football. I don't know. My dad brings me to the first session and so on. After that, I get invitation when I was 11 years old to come to Dinamo Academy. And when you once bring wear that jersey, it's quite easy to get in love with this club. Of course, that my dream was to become a professional footballer, but in some kind of way, a lot of us we didn't met that goal. So when I was 19 years old, I just going to study the economics and business here in Zagreb in Croatia. But of course, playing football, I played in second Croatian league in that time, so it's quite professional. It's not the top level, but maybe
Sure.
if you make some good step, you can
Right.
easily go to the first league.
Uh-huh.
But I didn't have that level of the quality, obviously, and I just focused myself on education and seeing where this football story can go, forward. I applied for UEFA C license and finished that the first year. But when I finished 3 years of economics and business here in Croatia, I just wanted to go in some kind of sports management specialization, so then I just discovered that there is one good study in Denmark, sports management. I applied. I get into that group of I don't know how many 30, 40 people, and finished that 2 years extra on these 3 years of economics and business. So I specialized myself in sports management, and I always wanted to do something in that industry, let's say. After the UEFA C license, I finished the UEFA B license, and now I just applied for UEFA A license, and going to, I don't know, I will see. I think I will not go to UEFA Pro license, but I think UEFA A
Sure.
license, since for now it's enough. And after that, I just wrote the email to the club. I just want to come here to be volunteer, to be an intern. They said, okay, we can see what we can do. I just started here. I don't know. It's almost now 3 years ago. I was volunteer for maybe 6-7 months, and after that, after the process of that volunteering, I just get a contract. That's it.
Really, what I find really interesting for you is, you're being the team manager at the club. A lot of the work you do is also stuff that happens off the pitch. But it seems to me like you're still very much invested in kind of developing yourself from a coaching standpoint too, because you're still pursuing these coaching badges and things like that. So that motivation, like, could you kind of explain that a little bit more? Like what elements of coaching do you
Okay.
apply to your day-to-day?
First of all, I love to believe that in football needs to look. It's not always, but I love to believe that in football needs to be people who get in touch with football. So I was ex-football player. Now I want to see. Okay, I was a player. I want to see how is to be like a coach. I need to understand. Okay, if I work with the coach, I need to understand him, what he needs, what how he is reacting to every daily things which he's dealing with. So I wanted also not to be just, okay, I'm here team manager and that's it. I want to develop myself. I don't know where my future will go, I'm still very young, so I want to finish all these licenses and to have a lot of experience also on the pitch and off the pitch. So you never know where your life will go on. I want to be prepared for everything, and I still didn't say I will not be a coach. So I'm going, like I told you, I'm going also on the Dinamo Zagreb camps around the world. We really do that around the world, Australia, USA, I don't know, almost every country in the Europe. So I met a lot of players, I met a lot of coaches, very good connections. So in that kind of way, I wanted to have all these licenses, diplomas, and everything, just to have the experience of everything, to experience a lot of things, and after that to decide, okay, I will go in this way or in this way.
Yeah, and one thing that I also wanted to ask was, you've you've invested time and efforts into, studying sports management and things like that. But as you were doing that, and like when you first started at Dinamo, when you were studying sports management, when you had this dream of maybe working for a big club one day like Dinamo, how much of what you thought is actually the reality, especially when you first started at Dinamo? How much of that overlapped with what you had in mind when you first started at Dinamo Zagreb?
A lot of that, and when you seeing your life, in the past, and you're just thinking, okay, I did that, then everything now makes sense, because I always wanted to be involved in the football camps around the world. I wanted to be involved to work with the young players. I wanted to be involved with the other professional clubs, organization, the tournaments, and so on. So everything what I wanted to do when I was studying this sports management now is happening. Sometimes we are not even realistic that it's happening, but we need to be very happy because of that, because it's very good when you work what you love. So for me, that's the maybe the best thing of this job, because I'm, let's say, living my dreams beside becoming the professional player.
The reason why I find this to be a very interesting answer from you is because a lot of times when I speak with people who work for clubs in Korea, I'm from Korea, obviously. A lot of what they say is, when they were dreaming of maybe working in football when they were younger, the idea that they had, it didn't really apply to the reality once they started working for a club, working within Korean football. But like, I find it to be very interesting to hear from you that a lot of things that you had in mind as you were studying actually apply to your reality when you actually started working for Dinamo. So that's probably a big gap in environment there, which I find to be very, very interesting.
Yes, but a lot of coaches and people who are working also in football here in Croatia, they are also thinking like your colleagues from Korea, because Dinamo is specific. And Dinamo is giving you a lot of opportunities, a lot of connections, a lot of top level things in football. So I was very, very lucky to start working in Dinamo and to continue. But also there is you don't need to have only luck, because like I told you, I was here 6-7 months volunteering, and in that kind of in this time, I wanted to give all what I know, what I am able to do, everything. Not only what now my obligations are, but beside that, I don't know, everything what young people can do. Even though some kind of stupid works, I will do that. So I have a lot of desire to be part of this club. So in the end, for me, I'm very lucky to be here, and it was luck and hard work. Let's say like that.
Yeah, and also, having spoken to Norbert Zorba, who's a very good friend of ours, who was also a guest on the very first episode of our podcast, he told us something very interesting about Dinamo. And because obviously you've worked with him as well. What he told us was, Dinamo are obviously a club that produce some of the best players in the world. Like we talked about this before the show. We talked about Luka Modric, and obviously there's Mateo Kovacic, players like that. But what Norbert told us was that he doesn't feel like there's secret to Dinamo's player development methods. There's no secret to how they do things, or a very distinct way of how Dinamo does things their way. Because what he said was, Dinamo accomplished what they did simply by believing and behaving like they're in a winning culture. So, like, would you kind of agree with this notion? And if you can kind of explain to us what went into creating or cultivating a culture like that within the group, within the club, I think that would provide a very interesting perspective for us.
Yeah, first of all, there is no secret to success. If there is a secret to success, then everyone will find for that secret and be successful. So there is no secret for that. I've been in Benfica Academy for 10 days, and I didn't see any secret why they are so successful in developing young players. There is no secret. There is only, for me, first thing what every good academy needs to do is having a good scouting. So first, the basic thing is that you need to have talented players. If you don't have talent, okay, you can develop something, but first of all, you need to be talented to be on some kind of level what club needs. So first of all is that. Second of all is that you need to have quality employers. What that means, that they are not only looking for, okay, I will this month earn this amount of money, then I want to go in another league for much more money. It's you need to find hardworking persons who will give everything for your club and your academy. That's the second thing. And the third thing is that the Croatian mentality is very specific, because we love to say that our kids are hungry. I'm not literally, but they are hungry for success. And like also our coaches are hungry for success. And because of that, they are doing everything what they can do to be successful, to meet their idols like Modric, Kovacic, and so on. So there is no secret. Like Norbert told you, there is only like I will give everything what I can do for this badge, for this club, and that's it. But methodology, we have some kind of methodology. We have books of Croatian methodology, but it's in the top level now. In these days, everything is well known. You cannot imagine something extraordinary which will change the whole football. I think that's impossible. Everything today is well known because of the internet and everything. In the past years, maybe 10, 15 years ago, when you saw some kind of exercise of Guardiola or I don't know, Ancelotti, then you were surprised, oh, they are doing that, I need to do that. But now, these days, I think everything is well known. It's just the approach to these kids, how you approach them, how you connect with them, and of course you need to pick the good kids which you feel you can develop later on.
Yeah, and what I wanted to also, I was reading through your profile, and what I found very interesting was I read that there's a department within the Dinamo Zagreb Academy called the Catapult Department. It's a very interesting name, Tin, because to catapult something, it generally means you're creating like a big jump. So what does a catapult department do? Like what's the function of this department?
Okay, that was our idea, because we are having the catapult devices for measuring the players on the field, fitness measuring. We just call that catapult department because we are having that from under 13 to under 19, and we in the past we had a B team, So if we just call them like that, it's not meaning anything special,
Yeah. No, I just found that to be very interesting. So when you say catapult, does it mean like the purpose of it, like ultimately, is to move the players up to the higher to the higher age groups, or where does that definition really come from?
You misunderstood that. That is only the company name which observing us with the
no, that's why I was confused.
But okay, it's good idea. It's good idea. It's good idea. Maybe in the future we will put that story. It's
I think
connected with that.
Yeah,
but
because
we have that devices which are measuring everything on the field, which is company's name Catapult, and then after that we call this department Catapult because we are having a lot of teams, and I started working in this department when I first came to be an intern and dealing with analyzing all the data of the players on the field and so on.
Yeah, no, so like me at first, not really knowing that, I was like, does catapult really mean like it's a system provided to jump the players up to the higher level? That's the idea that I had, which is why I wanted to kind of like clarify that when we're
good, nice idea. Yeah.
And one of the things that gets talked about a lot, amongst like people, football fans in general, about Dinamo Zagreb is how aggressive your club is with recruiting young people, who've studied, like kinesiology, to conduct research for the club, so that they can use at the youth academy at Dinamo Zagreb. Like, is this true? Because like I wanted to confirm that with you. And why is it also that Dinamo are so invested in recruiting young people who may not have extensive experience in this field?
First of all, this is mainly we are recruiting these guys in fitness department, because they are from kinesiology study, and a lot of young people who came here showed that they are very interested to stay here and to be part of this club. Of course, that after 6 months, some of them need 6 months, some of them 1 year, and after that, the decision is made by the director if that guy is good enough for this club or no. But they are working really for nothing, for zero money, and if they show that they want to stay here without the money, and they want to do with a lot of categories during this period, then they will stay here, and maybe after 1 year, 2 years, they will get contract. It's not easy process for these young people, but in the past, one director maybe now he was here maybe 15 years ago. He started that process, and it showed to the club that it's very good because these guys are coming with new ideas, with new methodologies, and so on. So it showed us that there is a lot of interest, and there is a lot of good people in this faculty.
Yeah, you've used this word a lot over the course of our conversation, the methodology at Dinamo Zagreb. I know that you kind of reveal that there's no secret behind any of these things, but if you can kind of explain to us in detail, like what is it about the player development methodology at Dinamo Zagreb that's maybe different from what we see commonly from other clubs? What are some of the differences there?
I would say that I was in Australia 2 times, in USA, in a lot of different countries around the world, and I didn't met this level of quality. That's first, but what we spoke about the talent. Second of all, these players from Australia, USA, and so on, they don't know they didn't learn the basic thing of the technique, let's say, and they just want to do some extra level of the methodology and so on, what they saw on the YouTube in Barcelona and so on, in the first team. So these kids in our academy, the main thing that we need to prepare them with the technique that they know how to do the basic thing. They know how to proper pass the ball, receive the ball, how to properly open on the field and so on. So let's say that sometimes our sessions are boring, but one part of the session is boring. What that means? If we are doing 20 minutes passing the ball on the wall, for the kids probably that will be boring, but we don't matter, because if you don't want to do that, someone else will come tomorrow and do that after you. So for us, this basic technique preparation is very important in the young age, because after that, then you are upgrading everything else. So a lot of in one session, a lot of boring work, let's say boring, but it's not boring. For them, maybe it is, but for the coaches, they know how important it is. Passing the ball on the wall, I don't know, 1,000 times. There is methodology of basic technique development, and we are just we believe in that. And like I told you, in the other countries, they don't know how to properly pass the ball, but they are doing some kind of extra work which they cannot do that. They are not prepared even to pass the ball.
So for the most part, it's really about staying true to the basics.
Yes, the basic thing. Of course, that if you have talented players, you will not tell him, okay, pass every ball which you receive on first touch. You need to develop his talent. You let him and being talented player and dribble the ball and so on.